Welcome to this new podcast. Today we are going to discuss about class 10 students having difficult choice that which school slash board to go for, especially if they are thinking of preparing for JEE or NEET. So today we have Mohan Prasad with us. Mohan, can you please give us a brief intro of yourself?
Hi Shival, good evening. So, hi everyone, I'm Mohan Prasad. I'm a student, a teacher and mentor for last many years. I'm an IIT Delhi and I am Lucknow graduate and been in education all my career.
ठीक. And Mohan Prasad, you have also cleared, I guess, many Olympiads when you were as a student.
Yeah. So I used to take Olympiads and all. So I did well in education at my point of time in competitive exams. And since we've been in education, so love discussing about this exam, guiding students, talking to them, understanding parents and students' feelings about these exam, and wherever we can share any input, we love to do that as
Got it. So at this point of time, parents have two major questions. Okay.
well.
One
Okay.
is basically, and I will categorize into three major questions. One is basically at this point of time, should my what should go for JEE? Should I go for NEET or something? Some other options are also good. This is the first question and that they are trying to answer at this point of time. So what is your take on this question? Should a student opt for
Obviously,
JEE, NEET or some other thing?
so yeah, multiple options are available. That is the reality. But the thing is, JEE and NEET are that popular for a very simple reason because they are great careers. So
Hmm.
if you become a doctor, you crack NEET, go to a medical college, become a
Hmm.
doctor, and it is a great option in itself. Like you'd
Okay.
have a lifelong, very satisfying, very lucrative career. And the same
Hmm.
thing happens with JEE. You go to one of the top IITs or even
Hmm.
NITs. You
Hmm.
do well in your career. You s- start with an excellent launch pad, and there are very high chances of you doing very well.
Okay.
So investing 2 years of life to prepare for a very tough exam is totally worth it. That teaches you a lot as well. So besides cracking the exam, the 2 years preparation of
Hmm.
JEE, that grind, that level of knowledge that you get, that application oriented study that you do, that in itself is a very satisfying journey, let's say.
Okay. But for the person who's getting through or for everybody else also?
For everybody else also. So so India has a lot of engineering colleges, right? So even if you
Okay.
don't crack JEE, you get into. So I have my own brother and obviously a lot of friends. We all have a lot of friends, right?
Hmm.
Who didn't go to IIT or some other place, but did their engineering from somewhere else, and they're very happy in life, doing very well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and obviously there are other careers besides engineering and medical. There are a lot of different careers in India, but these two remain the hottest choices for for last 3-4 decades for a very simple reason that they are awesome careers.
Okay. Got it. So I have a slightly different take into it. Okay. I think that if you are
Okay.
one of those persons who have figured out what they want to do out of their life. For example, I have figured out what I want to do painting only. And painting is
Mhm.
something that gives me intellectual satisfaction and satisfaction in life in general. So if you're one of those individuals, and I am now talking about 0.01% of people at the age group of when you are in class 10, you have actually figured out
Yes.
what they want to do with their life. Then you have all my blessings, go ahead and do that. But I don't think it is more than 1%. Even if I exaggerate, and it is not going to be more than 1% who have actually figured out what they want to do with their life.
Yeah, it's too young, right? If you're in class 10th
You
right
have
now,
not
so
still
you're
figured out,
hardly
right?
15 years of age. Yeah.
Got it. For others, basically, it is not a choice. You will have to go for something that will give you choice when you have figured out in future. So that is giving you a latitude to make that choice probably later on your life. So if I am
Later.
an IIT grad or a doctor, then my making that choice becomes easier in two ways because since I have already cleared a national level exam, people are going to trust me more about what I can do and what I cannot do in my life in terms of commitment. Not because of my intellectual ability, but in terms of commitment. I can commit to an idea or not. So that
Makes
will
sense. And
generate
you'll
trust.
have a professional degree as well as a fallback option, right?
Yes, and of course, and that is another thing that your family is going to trust you more because anyways you can go back to the same career that you are doing earlier and still earn a good living out of it. And that is the
Makes
reason
sense.
it
Makes sense.
ultimately boils down to doing either NEET or JEE in India. And I think that even that is not a choice for many because if you're good in mathematics, you're going to go for engineering exams. And if you're not good in mathematics, you're going to go for NEET exam. For most of the people, this is how they make the decision. So decision
Yeah, a
making
lot
is
of
very
people
easy.
want to become doctors as well because they're either
Huh,
very
but then
sympathetic, they
that
want to
that
help
proportion, I
people, or
would say that if 100 people are opting for NEET, that would be 10.
okay.
Okay.
That's an interesting update. Yeah.
Because most of the people are what they want is basically they want to live for another day. So they want to have to make a sufficiently secure choice today so that when they want to make a little bit risky choice later on in their life, they are able to make that.
Makes
And
sense.
for
Makes
that, I
sense. And
think,
you'd have
hmm, and for that, I think basically
and
JEE provides you that, engineering provides you that ground to play with
well,
better compared to NEET, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So
Engineers would have
you
more
from our
choices
own college,
compared to
you'd
a
have
NEET
yeah,
doctor.
you'd have people who've gone into acting. Obviously, a lot of people into writing. I myself tried to become a writer. I write books as well, but
Hmm.
those weren't enough to earn me money. So I
Hmm.
came back to a traditional work. But the reality is, you have a famous Chetan Bhagat, but many other people. You have
Hmm.
people in
Hmm.
different. So you have an IITian who is into sports, right? He played Winter Olympics sports as well.
Ha, we
And
had. We
I
had
forgot his
basically
name. Yeah,
kayaking, basically, one of them went into
kayaking.
Olympics
Yeah,
in
okay, yeah.
kayaking. See, and
So
we have
you have
Kshitij basically from our batch who is doing professional classical music now. He is doing
yeah.
concerts,
Kshitij is
etc.
so Kshitij is my totally. So he's my room partner, my not room partner, my hostel mate, my department mate, and we were together in most projects because our roll numbers were also together.
Oh, got it. So see, he's doing professional classical music, and classical music is like a very niche in music also.
Yeah,
We should understand
obviously.
that. And so people are doing all kinds of things, and and Nikhil has become a director, Nikhil Singh, and he's doing really well. And I went into one of the function, he was getting awarded there. So now,
Amazing.
so people take all kinds of choices with their life, and IIT or any good engineering college or career will give you that latitude to make that choice. Lot of comedians now I have seen that have come out of IITs,
Yeah.
engineering background,
Recently, I
etc.
saw that Vinit Tandon.
Hmm.
So he started his show as well. So he's a very senior IT and very respected. We have him in one of our groups, and people keep messaging him, "Okay, sir, आपका show देखा, it was so good," and all that. Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. Basically, it will give you that latitude to make that choice later on in life. Got it.
Makes sense.
Now, another question is, now let us say that I have chosen NEET and JEE, and NEET or JEE. Then, in order to do that, what kind of school should I choose for, or a board should I choose for? Because largely speaking, people will have three choices, three or four choices. Now, what do you think is your take on it?
Okay. So first thing is these exams are very, very aligned to CBSE board. That is a reality because it
Hmm.
is the largest national board. So almost all national exams, the syllabus gets aligned to CBSE.
Okay.
The thing is when you go to a school, obviously you learn a lot. It's an
Hmm.
all-round development. But in grade 11th and 12th, when you're focusing on a very intense preparation, JEE and NEET, the reality is only 2%, about 2% people get into very good colleges, right?
Hmm.
So if we compare the success, say, call that success rate, let's say, or
Hmm.
a strike rate, whatever you call it, 2-3% of a strike
Hmm.
rate.
Hmm.
So, and if you want to be in that, so you
Hmm.
want to focus all your energy on that exam. It is like,
Hmm.
say, I want to play T20 cricket for India
Hmm.
and there's a test. I have an option of playing 4-day matches or long test match kind of matches as well as T20 kind of matches. And you want to play into T20 cricket, you want to play IPL. So you better focus on T20. That is the
Hmm.
reality. You
Hmm.
specialize in that. So if I want to take the JEE exam, the board exam becomes secondary. It is a
Okay.
hard thing to say
Hmm.
because it's a school and all totally all around development. A lot of important things there. But the
Hmm.
reality is you'll have to focus most of your energy on JEE.
Hmm.
So so what a lot of students do is they either take some state board exam, they shift to state board where they don't have to go to the inter college or school, whatever you
Dummy
call it.
schools, basically.
They
That
don't have to
people
go
call
there
dummy schools.
regularly.
Hmm.
So they can focus on their coaching.
Hmm.
Then you have a lot of students who go for dummy schools as well.
Hmm.
Dummy schools, we all know dummy schools basically mean you don't have to mark your attendance, you just take admission somewhere. The school doesn't force you to attend classes, all you have to do is go take exams. I don't endorse it. And frankly, CBSE has become very strict on dummy schools for the past 1 year at least.
Hmm.
Himanshu, one of our juniors, is the CBSE secretary, and I think Himanshu himself has been very active in this regard. So,
Hmm.
dummy schools are a risky thing. They're not even helping you with your education, with your school marks and all. And at the end of the day, you have to take your board exams.
Hmm.
So you need some kind of help. So
Got it.
my suggestion is dummy schools are not a very good option. So
Hmm.
if you leave a normal school like CBSE board or whatever board you're
Hmm.
studying from or state boards, if dummy schools are not the best option, then probably the best option becomes NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling.
Okay.
So it is an option which is let's call it a slightly left field option. It's not very
Okay.
popular right now,
Okay, so we'll come
but
on
it
to
is
that
gaining
NIOS
in
NIOS
popularity. Yeah.
option. है ना? I will come on because we will want to discuss it in more detail. What that
Okay.
option is and why that option is really good. ठीक है ना? But see, I have again few points on this. See, what I believe is that let us say that if you want to do anything good at a personal ability, decently good. So you will have to give 2-3 hours for that. If you want to do something well at national level, most of the people who are doing any sport at a national level will at least do 2 3 3 hours of sessions in a day. So they are giving 6 hours dedicated into that activity. If you want to do
Understood.
something well at the international level, people are giving 9 to 12 hours in that. So what essentially JEE will also want is, apart from all the coaching etc. that you are taking, give me 6 to 7 hours on a daily basis, in order to master it. And then this is at the level of JEE means. If you want to do JEE advanced, probably 8 9 hours would be required, apart from coaching. Now, if you give 8 9 hours to a
Okay.
school, and then total working time that you have on a daily basis is 10 to 12 hours, where you can effectively put effort and do something, then you don't have time to do JEE preparation. So it is not a
Makes
question
sense.
that
Makes
you do
sense.
this or that. Largely, you will want to spend time where you want to get your outcome. It is not about the merit of being in a good school or not being in a good school. But once you have made the choice of selecting a goal, essentially you have chosen your journey, so you'll have to follow through it. Now, I will here want to just put officially there are 4 options into place. So one option is basically go for a normal schooling that will not give you any time to do anything else. And then you go for a
So it has
flexi
its
school
merits,
kind of
but
a thing that
doesn't
you
give
talked
time.
about, where you can have some liberty from the side of school. Don't come school 2 3 days in a week. That also I opted for that only, and largely speaking. So I did minimum attendance criteria. And then there are few schools that again you told about, dummy schools, where you take admission and then they give you all the freedom of not going to school, etc. But then there is a fourth option also, that probably in South India, coachings have started making their own schools. And the trend of school integrated program started, where the coaching teachers are teaching in the school. That are also getting cracked down or not now? Are they getting cracked?
So so right now, I don't think CBSE exactly has started cracking down on it, but
Achha, it is not right.
it's a close relative of dummy school, let's say. Let's put it like
But since if a coaching owns the school, whatever they can teach inside the school.
yeah,
And if they're not violating
yeah,
the
obviously,
curriculum
obviously.
of the, I don't think that is getting cracked down. Currently, it might get cracked down in the future, I guess.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so that is one option people
one option
definitely
might
have, but
happen. So
again,
again, that is
so the
something to be
merits
done
and
in the future.
demerits, there are pros and cons to it as well.
Got it. So I think that basically, so according to me, there is currently speaking, students will have two choices: either go for dummy school that might get cracked in. If you are a metro, largely we recommend that do not do it, because chances of getting it cracked are really high. So if you are in Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, it is a very risky option to have.
Yeah, it
Let
has
us say
become a
that,
risky option.
if you are
Earlier
in,
it wasn't, but now it has become.
so if you are in the tier 2 3 city, probably it might, the number will come next. But essentially, if you are a metro, the chances are that it will crack down. It is a very bad choice if you are in the metro. If you are in a
Okay.
school integrated program, there are other cons to it. The con is that the quality of the teachers usually in a school integrated program cannot be very high, because there is a system through which offline coachings operate, that is they filter out students. For filtering out students, you need large chunk of students and large batches, and then only on that you can deploy a very good set of faculty. So largely SIP will have tend to have lower grade of faculty. And if there is some good faculty, that will only be given to very good students only. And that is largely true for any offline institute. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense for students to go for it, especially if they're not
Yeah,
brilliant out of
this
the
is a
box.
point I had missed. Yeah, so
That
yeah,
is,
if
if
you
they're
don't have a
brilliant
lot of
out.
students in the school, then you may not get the best faculty. Makes sense.
So that is the problem that I have seen, that especially in South India, most of the students will face this problem. I'm not saying that every program and every branch have this problem, but most of them have some problem or another. And they use a formula largely. This is an unspoken formula. There will be one faculty that would be really good, that will connect to students. There will be one average faculty that people will not love or hate. And then there would be one faculty that is terrible. So largely one subject is going good, one is going average, and one is like really bad. But nobody will
Okay.
care, and they will
So that
continue in the
decreases
same format.
students' chances.
Yes, yes. So now, what we both believe is basically NIOS is a new thing. I will not say it is a new thing. It is an old thing now. It has come into limelight because of crackdown on dummy schools, right?
Yeah.
So why
That
do
is
you
one
think?
thing, and
Hmm.
it
So can
became
you
famous
like first
also during the
explain like
lockdown time.
what the NIOS is, and then basically what are the advantages over taking a dummy school or opting a dummy school?
Okay. So let's put it simply like this. NIOS is a national board, National Institute of Open Schooling,
Okay.
that had started for a very simple reason.
Hmm.
A lot of students who could not go to school for some reason
Okay.
or had
Okay.
to drop their, so for they moved cities, they did not find enough time, or they
Hmm.
had to retake the exam or something like that. It was for them. But a lot of smart students have started using NIOS for various reasons. Say I play chess
Hmm.
and I don't have time to go to a regular school,
Hmm.
but I still want my studies. I want to take the 10th board exam, 12th board exam. So I do it through the NIOS system. And
Hmm.
it's a national board, so recognized throughout the country,
Hmm.
recognized internationally as well. So there is just no issue. And their exams happen on time. They have a fixed syllabus.
Hmm.
They give you books to study. And it is very flexible also. You can take the exam multiple times. You can,
Hmm.
and if your scores are not very good, you can repeat the exam as well.
Hmm.
So it gives multiple options. So earlier it wasn't famous, but now students have started latching onto this.
Okay.
People who are, especially of Bangalore, I've got to know of a lot of students who are preparing for NEET exam or JEE exam. They are taking the NIOS option, and it is
Hmm.
getting popular in other cities as well. Like I'm based in Noida,
Hmm.
and Noida itself, a student who had to take the law exam, the
Hmm.
CLAT and IIT exam that happens,
Hmm.
he is one of the toppers. He had studied through the NIOS system,
Hmm.
and we read his interview as well. So the simple reality is, slowly students and parents have started understanding the value of NIOS because it brings flexibility in your studies.
So, like, if
You
I ask you
don't
a very
have to.
simple question, can you give me like 4 or 5 important points in a categorized into what is flexibility that it is introducing and how it is giving you those flexibilities?
Oh,
So, if I
so
talk,
very
I will
simple.
give you the points basically. If I talk in terms of time, so do students get more time compared to a normal board?
Yeah, so think of it. You don't have to go to a school. There are no school-based assignments.
Hmm.
There is no class 11th, basically, let's say. There is just one
Okay.
board which happens in class 12th. And there are some
Hmm.
smaller teacher-marked assignments which don't take a lot of time to do.
Okay.
Hardly 1 2 days to do per
Huh.
subject. So suddenly you have a lot of time to prepare for your JEE or NEET exam. You don't have to do any schoolwork basically.
Hmm.
And NIOS, scoring in NIOS is much easier than scoring in
And here,
CBSE or
one
state
point I
board.
would like to put in, and I think what Mohan is saying is very important because see what happens to a class 11th student. I am talking now as a teacher. That when the school exam will happen and largely your school syllabus and your coaching syllabus cannot be same. Even if it is same, the orientation of teaching it cannot be same. Coachings are objective, school
Totally.
exams are subjective. So inherently student will have to jump from one wagon to another and that creates a lot of disconnection between what you are trying to do. It leads to loss of consistency. Let us say that you started running now, 2 days you did not run, after that again you start running. So the consistency is lost in the process and that largely affect your outcome of the process. So you are not able to master on any of the process because for doing any activity and mastering it will require doing it consistently or a period of time that you're not doing. You are jumping from one exam to another, one board to another. It leads to a lot of disturbance. So in that point, what Mohan is saying is very relevant. Yes, Mohan, please
Yeah, and
continue.
you'd notice that almost every student, science student, drops marks in grade 11.
Yes.
So till 10th, you might be one of the toppers. Suddenly, 11th, your percentage drops down to 70,
Hmm.
65, 75, something like that. And this happens more than
Hmm.
99.5% students. So you don't want to get into that negative loop as well. So
Okay.
NIOS helps in that point. The
Got it.
second
And
is
one more
obviously,
thing is will happen in if you start losing marks is basically you tend to lose confidence also then.
totally,
Because
totally
if you
that
believe
happens.
that you can do it and you are doing well, you tend to
Yes.
do better. And if you think that I am not doing well, you tend to do even worse. Right?
So
Yes,
that
yes.
happens. And in those 2 years, confidence is a real booster.
Confidence
You
is a
don't
key.
want to lose confidence there.
Got it. ठीक है. So
Because you are
time
a
you have
teenager, right?
explained.
You're
Yeah,
preparing for a
yeah,
tough exam.
yeah, yeah. In terms of time, is there anything else that you will want to add?
Yeah, totally. So think of it like now the syllabus of NIOS is much easier. The syllabus is almost similar to CBSE, but the
Okay.
questions are much easier.
Okay, fine.
And the second thing is they give you that option to take your board exam in multiple attempts. So let's say you can take 2 subjects in October, November itself. Then the rest of the 3 subjects you take in the March, April cycle. So
Got
suddenly
it.
you can break the timing of your board exams. You can complete your subjects like English and the fifth subject much earlier. So you don't have to spend time there again. So that really helps you manage your time for the
Got
three
it. Got
core
it.
subjects of your JEE or NEET
So see
exam as
what happens is basically again I'm trying to give people a context of this idea. What Mohan is trying to say why it is so important because when you prepare for JEE, there are some choke points in the journey where the whole process is getting choked. One is basically when you're jumping these wagons, that is the first choke point. Another is basically when you're not getting enough amount of 8 10 hours that you require for your JEE preparation that you're not getting. So that is another choke point. Another choke point is okay, all of this you manage somehow. Another choke point is when you are doing the most critical time that you have your preparation. You have to most of the time people will be able to do their syllabus in October. January they will going to have their exam.
well.
The mains first attempt. है ना? In that 3 months or 4 months that are very critical, multiple things are going to happen. When you want to revise, you will have your pre-board exams. When you want to write your mock test for your final exams. for your JEE means one, you are going to have your board exam practicals.
Practicals.
So there is lot of congestion at the time that you require the most. So what Mohan is saying is critical, because if you write some papers early, so one, exam cycle is different. So what is happening with JEE and normal board is you write your JEE means one, in January, in February, you have your board exams. But when you're going for NIOS, that exam happens after April. When you're done with both of your attempts for
towards the
JEE,
end
you are
of April.
totally free now. And then what he's saying is again very relevant, because out of 5 subjects that you are going to write in your board exams, you can write few subjects earlier. So that congestion here we are even reduced in April also. So you can prepare for your JEE advanced better. That is going to happen after April. And third, again the level of the exam is simpler. So even if I prepare less and give less amount of time, still I will be able to score better and get better marks in percentage, etc.
Yeah, so we realize that in JEE, there is a qualification marks, right? Qualifying marks of 75%. NEET also has something 55%, but that's less to do. So 75% marks. So you don't want to get less than that. And trust me, in NIOS, with some minimal preparation, it is very easy to get over 90%. At least 85 to 90% is very, very easy to. So that is why it suddenly becomes a very lucrative option for students who are very, very serious about their JEE or NEET.
Got it. Understood. And what I believe is basically a lot of students every year are that they are able to clear JEE but not able to clear the 75% marks.
Yeah,
That
there are
also
cases
happens
like
every year. We'll feel that it is very stupid. People might be able to do that, but every year it happens to few students, right?
Yeah, because boards are subjective exams, right? JEE is an objective exam, and also in JEE especially, you have that option to skip questions. So there are 75 questions in the exam, but even if you do 50 well, you'll be among the toppers. Not
Yes.
if not topper, among the 98, 99 percentile. So you can skip some chapters, but in board exams, you have to be really thorough with your chapters, otherwise you're going to lose marks.
Got it. Got it. Okay, now see, now I guess people have made this decision in the first part that whether JEE, NEET or something else. In the second part, they have understood that they had 4 options, but out of those 4 options, there is a 5th option also available, that is NIOS. And in terms of time and choke point, it makes sense. But now let us talk about validity of this course, because this is a concern with a lot of parents, that will this course be valid across different kinds of exam that they are going to write? And are there going to be any problems to the student if they're trying to attempt admission into certain kind of colleges?
No, so NIOS is a national board. It is recognized everywhere. It is
Okay.
as equal to CBSE or ICSE as any other thing. So NIOS is totally acceptable everywhere. And as I told you, it is acceptable internationally also. So you'd have a lot of students, say someone is very interested in photography and they don't have time to take the board exams timely there, or someone is playing some sports, their sports and board exams are clashing or whatever. So they can't take the normal route. They have to take the NIOS option. And NIOS, since it gives flexible options of retaking the exam again after a month or something, you can choose your own dates as well at times. So people are taking that option. So that option is recognized internationally.
Okay.
So that is why it's a totally acceptable exam. The scores are totally valid. They do their exams in time. They give their results in time. And it's not just one central body. They have opened centers in almost all the districts of the country.
Okay.
Okay, some places they'd have private franchises, some places they have tied up with schools, but they have centers in almost all districts. The students go to the center, they can take books from the center, they write their exams at the center. And the thing is, NIOS also does this, they run classes for various subjects. So they have their online classes on the weekends, doubt classes. Then they have created videos by very senior experts and put on their website. If students want to see, they can see that. And they have their standard books as well. So they have they're fully prepared kind of a board.
Okay. Because see, I was going through one of the blogs on the internet, and there was a practical problem that one of the parents cited. What happens is basically and I will not take the names of the institutes here. Few institutes, private institutes, they will have their cycle of taking the admissions faster. And you will see that this will just start after JEE Mains 1. Based on JEE Mains 1 score only, they will start taking admissions, because they will generate a FOMO that today you are getting that, probably tomorrow you might not even get that. So based on that, they start taking early admissions, and the results of an NIOS exam come late because exams happen late. So for probably
it's not
JEE
very
Mains,
late.
it is not an
Exam
issue,
happens in March, April, result might come in early June.
But again, that is a small cost to pay basically compared to what benefits
Yeah,
you're getting. No option can be perfectly fine.
yeah.
But
Hardly
like if you have
1%
1%,
colleges would be taking early admissions and finishing
but
at that.
but
Private
of course,
colleges
if you
keep the
are
admission later as
and if you are able to focus for 2 years and give dedicated timing and there are zero choke points in the journey, chances of you getting through a private colleges might be very less. You might be able to get admission through JEE Mains or advanced only.
yeah,
Well,
you
it makes
get
sense.
into IITs or NITs, who bothers about private colleges then?
Got it.
So
Got it.
that's the thing.
Understood. See, now we have talked about two important points. One is time commitment. Second was basically validity of the score. Apart from this, do you think there is some other advantage to NIOS compared to other schools?
So the time commitment in itself is a very, very important point for class 11th and 12th students. And piece of, let's say, mind share, peace of mind, or let's say the
Piece of mind.
mind share as well.
Hmm.
When you're doing two things simultaneously, because in schools you have five different subjects simultaneously going on. JEE or NEET, you'll have three different subjects simultaneously going on, and they would not be in sync. So basically, you're preparing for eight subjects at a time. Now, if your focus comes to three subjects only, because NIOS class 11, you have nothing to do, some smaller assignments to submit. Class 12, you have the teacher marked assignment, which take 2 days hardly for one
Got it.
subject.
Hmm.
So the mind share, that the amount of freedom it gives you, and then suddenly you can use all that mind share on fully focused on your preparation. That
Got it.
definitely
Got
helps.
it. See,
And especially
I
for
have
Shival,
based
I'll
on your,
talk about NEET exam here also.
yeah, please
So
go on.
NEET exam, what happens? You have a lot of facts to memorize. NEET
Okay.
is an exam where bio is half the paper, zoology and botany, and you have a lot of facts there. So you
Hmm.
have to memorize a lot of facts. In the exam also, there are 180 questions in 180, 200 minutes.
Hmm.
So you want all your mind share on those subjects only. That really helps them.
Got it. See, since you are talking about it, I have got two more important points on it, that I picked from your discussion only. See, one is if you're going for a dummy school that most of the students go for, generally who are preparing for these exams, what they are paying some extra price for a service that they are not using. So they have to
Obviously.
pay for the school services extra, and apart from coaching that they are doing. And in case of NIOS, you are not paying for that. So you're saving some extra money in the process, and that is important because that can be invested on future studies. And
No,
especially
and
when
that
you're
you can
not
invest
using
in
it.
1:1 classes for JEE or
Ah,
NEET.
you can take 1:1 classes.
Uh,
You can do much more things. Like in PracBee, you can go for exclusive kind of courses that we have.
yeah,
And
totally.
another thing is basically performance is also an important criteria. Like getting 95% marks in NIOS is much simpler compared to getting the same amount of marks in a CBSE examination. So
Yeah,
in
yeah,
less
totally.
amount of time, you and then cheaper money, you get better performance. So why not to go for it?
Time wise, I'd say if you have to invest 10 units in CBSE,
Hmm.
you may have to invest 1 unit in NIOS or
Yes.
maybe 2 units in NIOS. So
Got
time
it.
wise is that much of a difference.
Got it. See, now here I will take 2 minutes to talk on basically the NIOS school and a PracBee school that we have come out based on this NIOS model. See, our idea in PracBee at this point of time that more students should opt for this model. So we have come up with an idea that there should be a bridge in between. Now, sometimes for people, NIOS will seem far-fetched because it will seem that the students will lose connectivity in terms of daily classes. And sometimes they feel that assignment, if they have to submit, they will want some help there. Papers, when they have to write, how they have to write, in that they will require some help. So we have come up with an idea of PracBee School, essentially, which is a platform for a student to prepare for NIOS. So NIOS is still there. You will get aligned to take admission in NIOS only through their portal, but we have given you a platform where you can come and prepare for NIOS. This idea of PracBee School that we are doing in PracBee is very interesting. Mohan, if do you want to more elaborate this idea?
Yeah, yeah, very simple. So it's like we are doing live classes for NIOS in a very structured manner.
Hmm.
We're helping you from registering till the exam date. We help you with all the process. We help you prepare for the exam. We help you with your teacher mark assignments.
Hmm.
And basically, it's our job to try and ensure you are in that 85-90% marks bracket. Obviously,
And
you
more
have to write
importantly,
the
by
exam, but
spending very less
with,
amount of time.
by spending very less amount of time, and you don't have to bother about when I have to study what. So we take care of that entire process for you. And we're already into JEE coaching. So for us, it's like an extra step for you,
Hmm.
nothing more than that. And that ensures that you are totally free from your board side commitments. You can just relax and focus on your NEET or JEE preparation.
Got it. Great, great, great. So now from this discussion, what I understand is, if you are a student at this point of time, your decision making process is very simple. And then if you have figured out what do you want to do with your life, it is fine. Otherwise, go for JEE or NEET based on your aptitude in mathematics or your choice. If you are going for that, you will require time to prepare. If you require time to prepare, going for a normal school is not advisable. So, and now if you are in a metro city, the safe choice would be to go for NIOS rather than dummy school. And now we highly
Yeah,
recommend
dummy
that.
school we can't advocate, to be very frank. Yeah.
Dummy schools we don't advocate because it is a very risky choice these days, especially. And especially we are in the metro city, and it is we do not recommend it. So largely speaking, then you are left with NIOS school, and now we think it is a great choice because it reduces lots of choke points in the process. You get extra time, you get extra marks, you spend less amount of money. So it is win-win for everybody, the student, the parent, and basically in terms of results also you will end up getting better results. Okay, so this is what I could get from this discussion. Mohan, is there anything you want to add? One last thing
No,
before
no,
we
no,
end
totally,
this.
totally. You really summarize it well. And all the best to the students. The JEE exam this year is happening after 3 days. So all the best to the students. And you can always look up to your seniors and ask them
Hmm.
what route to follow as well.
In fact, I want to add a very interesting thing. We did a survey on 35-40 students of PracBee this year. And we want just to understand that how can we improve our revision and mock test process for them. And none of them cited major problems with our processes. One or two suggestions were there. But most of them, like 30 students out of that, had problem with this calendar that the JN schools are following.
Yeah,
Alright, so
that is a very, as you mentioned, choke pointy calendar.
yes,
So
yes.
there is something
So
seriously wrong with that
what
calendar.
happens is basically the student who's starting the journey will never talk about it. है ना? But the student who's ending a journey is a very good
Mhm.
point of feedback for parents. And especially if you take that feedback, we all will arrive at the same point. And on that note, I will want to end this podcast. Thank you, Mohan, for coming for this podcast.
Thank you,
Let
Shival,
us
and
meet
good luck, everybody.
sometime again and discuss one more topic like this.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.